Good evening and welcome to SVGTV's news for Thursday, February 5th, 2026. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. Senior immigration officials have moved to reassure the public about border security and national safety amid the implementation of the Free Movement Initiative, a regional program designed to facilitate easier travel and mobility among participating countries. The initiative, which allows eligible nationals to move more freely for purposes such as work, business, and short-term stays, has generated public discussion and concern about its potential impact on immigration control and national security. Speaking on the initiative on a Cop Chat program on WeFM today, discussing the topic travel, entry, and compliance, what the public needs to know, Senior Immigration Officer Sean Bradshaw explained that the program allows for different classes of entry, each governed by its own set of requirements and regulations. Bradshaw emphasized that individuals seeking to benefit from the initiative must meet specific criteria and comply with established rules before being granted entry into the country. She further reassured citizens that despite the new arrangements, border security remains a top priority.
Some persons get a bit confused when they hear free movement, right? But we have different classes of free movement because we have the OECS free movement, we have the CARICOM free movement, and we have the CARICOM full free movement, right? And while it's sort of similar, some areas is a little different. The CARICOM free movement, you are required to present a passport. You have a right to enter any of the member states. You will be given 6 months on arrival. For persons wishing to work, they will require a work permit. That's under the CARICOM movement within certificate. Right. Now, under the CARICOM movement, there's also the class of persons who would deem as skilled nationals. Those are the ones that would have the CARICOM skill certificate. Those persons can enter providing that they have the skill certificate, and they can remain and work so long as they're the holder of a CARICOM skill certificate.
Meanwhile, Senior Immigration Officer Kurt Noel stressed that individuals are not automatically granted entry into the country under the initiative. He explained that through checks and screening procedures are conducted, that thorough checks and screenings and procedures are conducted to ensure that persons do not pose a threat to national security or public safety. Noel also noted that immigration authorities continue to work closely with regional and international partners to maintain strong border control systems.
Okay, that's why I say there are checks and balances that are being carried out, right? Not just by us, but by our the sender state, right? So if you have someone coming with whether criminal activities or other thing that probably may disturb, hinder your sovereignty of your country, then we correct the necessary action. It's not, that's why I said free movement is not what it seems to imply, but there are also checks and balances that we have to carry out so that these persons could travel. And Bradshaw mentioned bona fide travelers, what she gave an explanation. So all these are still carried out before the person is admitted. Once the person is admitted, they enjoy the benefits of the receiving state.
Both officials further assure the public that St. Vincent and the Grenadines' borders remain safe and well protected under the Free Movement Initiative, and that the program is being implemented in a responsible and structured manner. On October 1st, 2025, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, along with Barbados, Belize, and Dominica, implemented a historic full free movement regime for their nationals. This CARICOM agreement allows citizens to live, work, and reside indefinitely in any of the 4 participating countries without requiring work or residency permits. The 2026 budget estimates for the Ministry of Education represent the second largest allocation of the $1.8 billion national budget presented in Parliament last Thursday. Providing a breakdown of the allocation, Minister of Education Philip Jackson said the ministry has been allocated $220 million in recurrent expenditure and $63 million in capital expenditure. He explained that a significant portion of the funding will go towards initiatives aimed at improving the quality of education, including the government's continued commitment to covering Caribbean secondary education certificate (CSEC) examination fees for students. Minister Jackson noted that this measure is intended to ease the financial burden on families while ensuring that all students have equal opportunities to complete their secondary education and obtain the recognized qualifications.
The largest percentage increase of 49.1% is under the program Education Quality Assurance and Standards. And you might ask why this is so. Madam Speaker, this is to honor the Prime Minister's pledge that we shall pay for all CSEC exam fees to all of our students. This measure responds, as the Honorable Prime Minister liked to say, the pain points of our people as expressed. So students and parents no longer have to worry about where they're going to find the money. The parents can fully concentrate on helping their students study, and the students can fully concentrate on studying for their exam.
The minister further announced that college tuition fees will also continue to be covered by the government as part of its wider policy to make tertiary education more accessible and affordable for Vincentians. He said this investment is critical to national development and to building skilled and competitive workforce.
The community college students who have left, we haven't left them by the side. We have committed also to ensuring that the fees associated with the tertiary education at the community college will be abolished, and the government would ensure that that is taken care of. That is making sure that we put our investment in our human resources that matters for the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And our students, instead of worrying along with their parents about where they're going to find these resources, can focus on making the maximum use of the educational resources available to them.
Meanwhile, Minister Jackson acknowledged that over the years, the education system has fallen short in meeting the needs of students in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He stated that his ministry is committed to addressing these long-standing challenges with particular focus on improving literacy and numeracy outcomes across the education system.
The largest percentage increase of 49.1% is under the program Education Quality Assurance and Standards. And you might ask why this is so. Madam Speaker, this is to honor the Prime Minister's pledge that we shall pay for all CSEC exam fees to all of our students. This measure responds, as the Honorable Prime Minister liked to say, the pain points of our people as expressed. So students and parents no longer have to worry about where they're going to find the money. The parents can fully concentrate on helping their students study, and the students can fully concentrate on studying for their exam.
As part of this effort, the estimates include $67 million allocated specifically for primary and secondary education, with an emphasis on supporting vulnerable students and strengthening foundational learning at the early and secondary levels. Minister Jackson emphasized that these investments reflect the government's determination to reform the education system and ensure that no child is left behind. Under the theme, Education is a Lifelong Investment, 173 students who successfully completed the Continuing and Professional Education CPE short courses received their certificates from the University of the West Indies Global Campus, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The recognition ceremony for Semester 1 of the 2025-2026 academic year took place at the campus hall on Saturday, January 31st, 2026, with Marketing and Communications Manager of the General Employees Cooperative Credit Union Limited, GECU, Danielle Francis, as the featured speaker. In her message, Francis congratulated the students and urged persons to think of education not as an expense, but as an investment that appreciates. Unlike material possessions that can be lost or stolen, Francis told the participants that each course they complete, each skill they acquire, enriches their understanding and opens doors that were previously closed. It can lead to new head of site of the UWI Global Campus St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Noel McBurnett, expressed elation over the success of the recipients and encouraged them to utilize their skills to create a positive impact. She stated that the UWI was fulfilling its mandate to empower people through its professional development and online programs. She also credited the tutors for their commitment, as well as newly appointed program officer Jamisha Roberts Daniel for her commendable efforts at expanding course offerings and improving student support. The students did short courses in social media marketing, project management, introduction to QuickBooks, computer applications for the office, financial planning for small businesses, media relations and social networking, financial management, essential occupational health and safety procurement management, search engine marketing, and managing the 21st century human capital assets. New courses offered this semester include grant proposal writing, information technology, security management, protocol and soft diplomacy skills, business information technology, and brand management. World Pediatrics continues to make significant strides in providing critical medical interventions to children across the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, with St. Vincent and the Grenadines serving as its regional hub. Executive Director of World Pediatrics Caribbean, Lauren McIntosh-Shallow, highlighted the major milestones achieved by the organization, noting that the range of services offered has more than doubled over the years. She revealed that in St. Vincent and the Grenadines alone, 45 medical missions are expected for this year, underscoring the organization's growing presence and impact in the country. McIntosh-Shallow explained that these missions span a wide range of specialties, including surgery, speech therapy, and developmental care, all aimed at improving health outcomes for children who may not otherwise have access to specialized medical services.
It's going wonderful. The year is off to a great start. We've already had a surgical team in St. Vincent and the Grenadines offering complex cases. We had complex cases that we were able to complete. We now have our speech and language therapy team in St. Vincent, and they're going on to Dominica from here, and they see between 100 to 150 children in 3 days. We have 5 speech and language therapists here with us. In addition to that, we've made significant strides regionally. You know, we recently signed an MOU with the OECS Commission to be able to continue to provide pediatric care and advanced pediatric services across the Eastern Caribbean. And that is a great hallmark occasion for World Pediatrics, and we're excited about what that means for us as an organization and the children of the Eastern Caribbean. We have, this year alone, we have 45 teams and clinics planned throughout the Caribbean, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines remains our surgical hub, so we will see about 20 teams in St. Vincent and the Grenadines during the course of 2026.
One of the speech therapists currently on a World Pediatrics mission in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Wendy Macmillan, praised the warm reception received by her team. She said people have been extremely welcoming and supportive, which has made it easier for the team to carry out their work in service of the nation's children. Macmillan added that collaborating with the local healthcare professionals has been a rewarding experience and has strengthened the overall impact of the mission.
We come and feel so at home, especially for somebody like me who's been here several times. I get greeted by families and folks here and you feel the love and you feel like you're giving back something. So we come to the island twice a year. We bring different teams each time, and we reconnect with families that way. We also do typically share our resources and our numbers so that we can stay in touch. We do also have a speech therapist here on the island and a doctor who will help kind of answer some questions or direct them to us if they have a question that they need assistance with. We do have some kids that attend virtual sessions, and that's kind of just worked out between the therapist and the family if there's some carryover that we want to work on with them.
Well, Pediatrics is celebrating 25 years of service, marking more than 2 decades of improving pediatric healthcare in the region. As part of the anniversary observances, the organization's chief executive officer recently completed a 2-day visit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, recognizing the long-standing partnership and continued commitment to the people of the country. Welcome back to the evening news. Still on the local scene, Controller of the Inland Revenue Department, Kelvin Pompey, is reminding motorists of the importance of keeping vehicle records up to date, particularly when modifications are made. Speaking during a recent interview with the Agency for Public Information, Pompey emphasized that vehicle owners must pay close attention to existing regulations and comply with a request from the Inland Revenue Department and Licensing Authority whenever changes are made to their vehicles. He stressed that motorists are required to inform the licensing authority of any modifications, noting that accurate and current records are essential for proper vehicle identification and regulation.
Now, the color issue, as was mentioned, is one that persons should pay particular attention to, because persons are changing the vehicle color, and it means that when the license sticker is printed, the color that we have is different from the one that the vehicle is. And of course, the police stops you. They're going to ask you, why is this the case? And so persons are basically must get to know and be informed that they should let the tax department, let the license authority know if you're making changes to the vehicle, in particular the color, because we would then change it in our registry, and the next time the person changes their sticker, then the new color would appear. We have been saying that you should seek permission to change the color, but it's not to get permission, it's to inform the department that you have made the necessary changes to your vehicle, including the color. At the inspection, once you go to the police garage and they see that the color is different from the one that we have in the system, they can update the color, as well as persons can come to the department and inform the department that the vehicle color has changed, and we will do the necessary from there.
Pompey further explained that current legislation mandates vehicle owners to notify the relevant authorities once the general appearance of a vehicle is altered. This includes changes to color, body style, or any other noticeable features.
Under the present legislation, once you make any changes to the vehicle, you should inform the licensing authority that you have made a change to the vehicle. And that means the color, things like the engine, the general appearance of the vehicle, because you'd recognize that the color is one of the main things that aids in describing a vehicle. And so if you're looking for a vehicle, you're looking for a red vehicle or blue or black. And so what we have in our registry should match the vehicle color on the road. In the past, persons would have been making changes to their vehicles, especially the color, without updating the tax department. Now, given that the color is going to be printed on the sticker, it means that person would now have to let us know when they change the vehicle color. Of course, if you change it sometime during the year, in most likely it would remain like that until you get a new sticker. But we're encouraging all persons that if you're making changes to the vehicle, the law requires you to inform the department, their licensing authority, which is the police, as to the change, and in particular the color, so that we can make the necessary changes in our registry.
According to Pompey, maintaining updated vehicle descriptions assists law enforcement and regulatory agencies in carrying out their duties more effectively. He added that compliance with these regulations contributes to improve road safety, greater accountability, and enhance public order. Efforts to improve watershed management in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are being advanced through a project currently being implemented by GEMS, a local organization. The organization recently hosted its first consultative workshop in Vermont, which saw a strong turnout from residents of the community and surrounding areas. The workshop provided an opportunity for stakeholders to learn about the project and to share their views on watershed protection and sustainable land use practices. President of the GEMS, Joanna Neverson, said the primary objective of the initiative is to build more resilient communities, particularly in light of the increasing impacts of climate change, and she noted that improved watershed management is critical to reducing flooding, soil erosion, and other environmental risks that affect vulnerable communities.
Community consultation, like the one that we're having here today, capacity building, and practical actions such as conservation, sustainable livelihoods, and gender-inclusive participation. We seek to work along you to protect your natural resources while strengthening resilience. Your voices, knowledge, and partnership are critical to the success and the sustainability of this project. Now, what I would like to see, nearing to the end of the project, is that this knowledge that you're going to learn today and the skills and so on, that it is being passed on to the next generation to come, our youth, get them involved, because we have to find a way in order to sustain generations to come. Climate change is here, it is real, and we have to find ways to adapt and sustain our environment.
Among those attending the consultation was Member of Parliament for South Leeward and Minister of Urban Development, Nigel Stevenson. He welcomed the implementation of the project in his constituency, especially in the Vermont area, and emphasized the importance of introducing more initiatives of similar nature. Minister Stevenson stated that projects focused on environmental protection and community resilience are essential to sustainable development and long-term national growth.
The entire area between these two mountains, we refer to it as the Buckerment Valley. So the Buckerment Valley is not just Buckerment Bay. We are a part of the Buckerment Valley, and therefore we have to try to preserve it, keep it as natural as possible. 2013, your experience with the river. As somebody who has the privilege of growing up along this riverbank, just like you, I share this very experience with you. We all have that privilege. We all had our own socialization in this river. But look at the volume of the water right now. Look at the amount of water, the level of the water in the river, compared to when we were growing up, when we used to go to Gums, when we used to go to Kinnell, when we used to go to Cornell, when we used to go to Table Rock. We used to throw headers in Table Rock, in Cornell, in Gums. Can you try it in Gums today? Can you try it? You can't. The young people would not understand.
The minister also encouraged more residents to join community groups and become actively involved in initiatives aimed at building and protecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Watershed Management Project is supported by the Critical Ecosystems Partnership Fund, CEPF. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force has provided an update into the death of a worker at a construction site in Villa area yesterday. The deceased has been identified as Alcimor Batiste, a 39-year-old construction worker of Chile, Georgetown. According to the SVG Police Force, preliminary investigations indicate that Batiste sustained injuries at a work site in Villa and was transported to the Milton Keaton Memorial Hospital, where he later succumbed. A postmortem examination is expected to be conducted to determine the exact cause of death. The SVG Police Force says investigations are ongoing and persons with information that may assist with the investigation are asked to contact Police Control at 457-1211, the Calico Police Station at 458-4200. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force extends condolences to the family and friends of Baptiste during this difficult time.